Government minister says it cannot be business as usual in the wake of the U.S. indictment of a former cabinet minister. Guyana hoping to sign an economic cooperation agreement with Barbados. And this island's visibility as a premier travel destination could be in for a boost.
Credible, balanced, committed. This is the CBC Evening News.
A very good evening to you with the Friday, September 21st edition of the CBC Evening News. I am Ryan Broom, and our top story. The recent U.S. indictment of a former cabinet minister and the subsequent international attention represents a clear shot across the bow for the entire country that it cannot be business as usual. That's according to Minister in the Ministry of Finance, Ryan Strawn. He made the comments as he addressed the Barbados Stock Exchange's annual Corporate Governance and Accountability Conference 2018 at the Hilton, Barbados. The minister also recalled one of the companies listed on the exchange was initially mentioned in connection with the investigation.
We must all collectively redouble our efforts to ensure that the conduct of the people's business, whether in public or private institutions, is done with absolutely clean hands. To that end, on our side, as we have constituted the new boards of management across the many state-owned enterprises, the Ministry of Finance, as a matter of urgency, has proposed that all board members be exposed to the principles and practice of good corporate governance and anti-money laundering training.
Mr. Strawn adds Barbados has now reached a stage where it must ensure every transaction, opportunity, or tender must be able to stand scrutiny in the light of day or dead of night.
This government is committed to making sure that over the course of the next few months, as we bring new procurement legislation to the books of Barbados, as we seek to review the Public Financial Management and Audit Act, as we go through the various reforms within customs, immigration, you name it, that the people of this country, whether as citizens, business people, or investors, are able to have clarity of purpose and certainty such that they can carry out their business.
Now, if you bought government savings bonds 3 years ago under the marketing campaign, you will not be affected by government's debt restructuring. Minister in the Ministry of Finance, Ryan Strawn, emphasized this point today, saying government would protect their interests as all responsible administrations are meant to do. Mr. Strawn made the comments as he delivered the feature address on behalf of Prime Minister Mia Amor-Motley at the Barbados Stock Exchange's 6th Annual Conference on Corporate Governance and Accountability at the Hilton, Barbados. Mr. Strawn added that government had created a special instrument for pensioners with government securities so they would receive principal payments over the next 4 years. Well, Central Bank Governor Cleviston Haynes has responded to suggestions the agreement Barbados has entered with the IMF will not solve the country's economic crisis. Former Prime Minister Owen Arthur had last week cautioned government that the proposed $290 million program will not be enough on its own. Mr. Arthur suggested the country needs to increase its reserves by about $600 million. However, Mr. Haynes says as long as Barbados is able to properly manage its resources and meet its commitments, local and foreign investor confidence would improve. He says this will then create access to additional foreign reserves through borrowing from agencies such as the Caribbean and the Inter-American Development Banks.
The value of the fund is twofold. One is that the resources you get from them are very low cost. And secondly, and perhaps more critically, is that ability to catalyze resources from elsewhere. Because once you are in the fund program and you're doing well, persons believe, therefore, that you're managing your affairs in a certain way, and it's in that circumstance that they are willing to lend you money.
Mr. Haynes was addressing a gathering of the Barbados Association of Insurance and Financial Advisors at the Lloyd Erskine Sandyford Center. He's cautioning the proposed debt restructuring could result in some losses for the financial sector.
Now, even though there were no write-downs of principal in the debt restructuring, that will create some accounting losses for financial institutions that held significant levels of government paper. However, the impact will vary according to the degree of exposure. Where necessary, the regulators will consider temporary measures to enable financial institutions to adjust to the new reality in such a manner that does not harm the overall stability of the financial sector in the short or long term.
Mr. Ains adds that the impact on users of financial services would also vary, as the settlements on arrears should improve the cash flows of workers and people who are owed tax refunds, but any loss of jobs would impact customers' ability to service their loans. Now, fresh off signing a memorandum of understanding on energy cooperation with Trinidad and Tobago, Guyana is interested in a similar deal with Barbados. President David Granger has announced his country is hoping to conclude a framework agreement for economic cooperation with Bridgetown soon. He made the announcement at the inaugural Guyana Trade and Investment Business-to-Business event called Guy Tai. President Granger noted Guyana's interests are intertwined in the region. He stressed that now more than ever, Guyana can contribute toward regional trade agreements to aid the Caribbean single market and economy. He adds the discoveries of petroleum in its waters will unleash tremendous opportunities, and he wants the private sector to work towards building strategic partnerships to be able to exploit the budding sector.
Experience has forewarned us of the dangers of dependence on one sector or one commodity. Petroleum revenues will be deployed prudently to ensure sustainable and inclusive development under the Green State Development Strategy. That is the pathway to economic transformation of Guyana into a green state. Such a green state will emphasize the policies of preserving our biodiversity, protecting residents and economic sectors from natural hazards, promoting food security and promoting energy security, improving solid waste management, and adding value to local production.
There's a claim tonight that several primary school children in Barbados are having sex with animals. Director of the Pure Sex Center, Ambrose Carter, says about 3 years ago, when they visited several primary schools, children admitted to engaging in bestiality. He says they are also watching large amounts of porn, which is triggering this type of behavior.
They say to us that it is because they see these things on the TV, not only television, the internet.
Yeah,
they see these things on the internet,
social media.
On social media, and they think it's all right to do. So there's a lot of that.
Now, Mr. Carter says once you talk to children, they start to open up, and this is why this program is so critical.
So at no time at all do we say what these things are, and we ask them to list some of these activities that constitute sex, and they would rattle off all of them.
So they are aware?
They are very aware, because like I said, we do not lead, we follow, and then we try to highlight the consequences or the dangers of these things, and then we promote them, we build from that and promote the benefits of waiting for marriage and remaining faithful.
In other news now, over the next year, Barbados' visibility as a premier travel destination could be in for a major boost. This as members of the Society of American Travel Writers gather here for a conference for a taste of all Barbados has to offer. The members of the society include writers who've had articles published in the Los Angeles Times and the National Geographic Traveler magazine. President-elect David Swanson says they'll be taking a number of tours to have a detailed look around the island.
One will be a golf tour. There's a tour that's focused on water sports. There's a tour that's focused on the turtles and doing a turtle snorkeling experience. So each of these tours, and I think there's about 16 or 18 in all, will highlight a different aspect of Barbados And so we're not bringing back one story about Barbados, we're bringing back a whole bunch of different stories. And it should, at the end of the day, over the next year or so, it should amount to hundreds of stories in a lot of different outlets.
Now, Mr. Swanson was speaking at a reception at the newly renovated Sea Breeze Hotel, renamed the Sea Breeze Beach House. The sales and marketing manager for the Ocean Hotels Group, Barbados, Jackie McDermott, welcomed the writers.
To the Society of the American Travel Writers, made up of the most prestigious people in your field, from journalists, travel writers, photographers, and PR agency, it really is our opportunity as a destination to let you be our window to the world. So we do hope that you have a wonderful time here. We take lots of beautiful pictures, how could you not? But also find those stories about the place that will really make a difference to the people that are going to choose Barbados as their next holiday destination.
Miss World Barbados, Ashley Lashley, believes a multi-sectoral approach is needed to control non-communicable diseases, and she wants the same attention afforded to the fight against HIV/AIDS given to fighting NCDs.
I want to urge all of you here today to let us spring about the necessary sensitization and awareness to this fight against non-communicable diseases, because a nation's greatest wealth is its health.
Now, Ms. Lashley, through her School Against Non-Communicable Diseases initiative, recognized various individuals and companies who've helped in the successful hosting of the International Week for NCDs, along with an international conference at United Nations House. Among those acknowledged at the American University of Barbados function were CBC's Kish Morrison-Geest and representatives from the Caribbean, African, Indian, Afghanistan, and a Chinese medical team. President of the Student Government Association, Vedanta Sharma, agrees we can prevent the spread of NCDs by sharing knowledge.
I fully advocate such presence like Miss World Barbados Ashley Lashley and the founder of the School Against Non-Communicable Diseases, who shall be the most effective awareness, meaningful role model and provide effective voice for NCDs for many more years to come. May her efforts bear rich fruits for humanity. Let us carry all forward the message and serve and protect against the NCDs worldwide.
Barbadians, especially women, are being told to stop posting everything on social media. Crime Prevention Officer Inspector Stephen Griffith says it's a dangerous practice that's making them easy targets.
What has been observed is that I look at my Facebook only to be malicious, to read. But when I look, I see people say, well, I am now at this place, and they show you the food. I am now at this place, they show you the shoes. I'm not at the next place. So the criminals these days have gotten smart too. They're also using social media. So what you are doing is saying that you are not at home, so I can go there and break into the house. Or you're not at home and I can wait to attack you. So why provide all this information all of a sudden to everyone in the world? It doesn't make sense.
Inspector Griffith was speaking during the launch of a women's self-defense program at the West Terrace Primary School. The program will run for 8 weeks and will teach women the techniques they need to defend themselves. The crime prevention officer has also cautioned women about how they use ATM machines.
I see people go to the ATM and they're pushing their card, they draw the money and they stand up and count it. If you count it and he's wrong, who you will ask? You understand? So it's not take your money and go your way. When you get into a safe and proper location, then you can look at that money or check it.
Sound advice. But the Barbados Academy of Martial Arts is hosting the self-defense classes. Secretary of the Academy, Romana Satram, says they thought the classes were necessary given the increase in domestic violence incidents against women.
Tips as to how you can stay safe. Things that you can do, simple things that you can do to keep yourself safe in any given situation. If you can do it the whole of Barbados, we will. But we have to start somewhere. So we're starting here and we'll see where it takes us.
And the classes are the brainchild of Member of Parliament for St. James South, Sandra Husbands. She says women remain extremely vulnerable.
We're constantly making decisions whether to go, come, stay, park the car, whatever, based on that decision about safety. So it hinders us in being able to move as freely as we would like. As we get older and become more and more frail, you will find that you will keep making decisions that keep limiting your life. So I really, really welcome the self-defense classes.
Some education news now. The Grantley Prescott Memorial Primary School has embarked on a program to ensure no student is left behind. And approximately 40 students are expected to benefit from the first phase. Our Sharika Griffith has more.
No child is the same, and so every boy and girl learns at a different pace. Unfortunately, that means some get left behind. Well, the Grantley Prescott Primary School is determined to work with those children and has established a special place for them.
The whole concept of the unit started sometime earlier this year, having conversation with the officers from the Ministry of Education, and they too are on board. They saw the need for the children to get the special attention that they needed, remedial attention that they needed, and they facilitated it. They're the ones who are going to be outfitting the unit in terms of the equipment, and I'm very pleased about that. But we needed to have a special area that these children can come and sit comfortably, work at their own pace, and enjoy learning.
The students, who are from Infants B right up to Class 4, will be housed in this prefab building, which was refurbished by the Optimist Club of Barbados Bridgetown with some help from the school's PTA.
In keeping with our mandate, once we heard of the need for some work to be done on the inclusion unit here, we were more than happy to assist. So what we did was we arranged for the outside of the building to be painted, and our members actually came out and painted the inside of the building.
Past Optimist Governor of the Caribbean District, Joseph Benfield, congratulated the Bridgetown branch for establishing a junior Optimist club at the school.
We want to make sure that the young people of Barbados, the young people of the Caribbean, the young people of the world, as an Optimist, we want to ensure that these young people, we help them to bring out the best in them. And we want to make sure that they grow up to be proud, contributing, responsible citizens of Barbados.
Students in the Joy Club will be engaged in activities which not only benefit their school, but the wider community. Sharika Griffith, CBC News.
Thanks, Sharika. Well, Barbadians who enjoy reading now have another local option to add to their book collections. Connect the Dots is author Hadford Howell's first fictional literary offering. The political crime thriller is set right here in Barbados, and Mr. Howell says the book was a dream for many years. And now that it has been published, he doesn't plan to stop there.
This is not a standalone novel. It is the first in a series about the exploits of a new security organization, the Barbados Intelligence Bureau. I'll also share a secret with you. Just for you, work on the next 4 BIB novels are underway, with the successor to Connect the Dots having been completed. A rollout date for it is to be set once editing is completed.
Now, Mr. Howell was speaking during the book's official launch at the Golden Sands Hotel. Attendees were treated to a reading of excerpts of the book. A longtime friend of Mr. Howell and Home Affairs Minister Edmund Hinkson encouraged Barbadians to get involved in literary and other creative arts.
This is an area, of course, that we need to develop, cultural industries. We need more than the traditional aspects of the economy right now to help us drive this economy and to progress the development of Barbados, and the cultural industries is an area. Of course, that it doesn't fall under my ministerial mandate, but certainly is something I have tremendous interest in.
Students at the Foundation School are being challenged to make the school's legacy live on. The call from Ambassador Chad Blackman, past student and recently appointed permanent representative designate to the World Trade Organization, a United Nations office at Geneva. He was addressing students during the installment ceremony for the school's new prefect body.
Which one of you in here will be the next Prime Minister of Barbados? Which one of you will be the next ambassador of Barbados? Which one of you will be the next owner of a conglomerate and a business across the Caribbean? These are things that you can do once you ensure that your foundation is strong.
The past student, Consul General Designate to Toronto, Sonia Marville Carter, told the students to always do their best, but remember to prepare beforehand.
In each form, we're given the tools that are necessary to succeed at the next level, not only from first to fifth, but for life.
Newly installed head girl Cara Carrett and head boy Ellen Harewood Ford reminded students they will be given the tools necessary to realize their dreams.
In each form, we're given the tools that are necessary to succeed at the next level, not only from first to fifth, but for life.
This very potential is deeply rooted inside each and every one of you who stand in front of us today. And we strongly believe that as a student body, we can do anything we put our minds to. We can be, indeed we will be, the next generation of star athletes, politicians, doctors, social activists, lawyers, entrepreneurs, musicians, artists, academics, prime ministers, and professionals.
Meanwhile, Principal Robert Cumberbatch stressed the need for discipline among students. He says the role of prefects is key.
I must say I am very proud of this group of folk. I want you to be proud of them too. They speak when they speak with my authority. So if they have to speak to you by way of encouragement or correction, understand that it is the deputy, the principal, and the administrators speaking through them.